Hey guys and girls, I don't know, maybe there are some watching, who knows? Welcome back to another episode of WoW Alpha Hardcore Leveling. I will preface this by saying that the Logitech G Hub driver software has kind of messed with my mic, so if I do sound different or a little bit quieter than usual, then I greatly apologize. I have to go along and figure out if I can fix this somehow. Sadly, it's really quite annoying to deal with. I have a new Logitech mouse, and yeah, I had to get drivers for them, and apparently a Blue Yeti is also a Logitech device, at least it is on that driver software, and it decided to mess it up all on its own without my doing. Anyways, that being said, you can see Crossroads on the screen here. The inn itself is a little bit bigger than we're used to. It has 3 floors, I would say, or two, not sure, but anyways, you can walk it up. There's a guy up there that's usually standing on the watchtower in the center of Crossroads. Crossroads itself has an extra watchtower. You can see the female orc model here being a little bit different. The quest itself, if you want to pause it and read the quest text, it explains a little bit more why there are female orcs in leadership positions, as that was something that wasn't quite familiar to players of Warcraft 3, because I think we just saw male orcs in Warcraft 3, if I'm not wrong about that. So this flavor text here and this whole questline conscript of the Horde explores that a little bit. Other than that, you can see most of the stuff in Crossroads is kind of the same-ish. As I said, the position of a couple of NPCs is different, as well as the guy in the cage, which we'll probably see later on in the video. He is the Quillbore quest giver that is standing in Camp Tarayo, the second quest hub, which I haven't been down there yet, but it makes me think that it's not in the game as of yet. So most of the quests are actually here. Disrupt the attacks, the quest that has you kill the Quillbores, then the Planestrider Menace is in the game. We got it from Sergar Darkthorn, and Mankrik is even in the game. I'm not sure if he's already looking for his wife, but he is looking for revenge, as you can collect the Quillbore tusks down south for him already, but we're a little bit too low level to actually do that. Friendly reminder that I will be streaming in about 4 hours from now on Kick at 5 p.m. Central European Summer Time. The link will be in the description down below, so if you want to join me live as we continue our leveling journey, you're very welcome to do so. I would love to see some of you there in the chat. I'm mainly doing it for fun and because I would like some company as I level on this empty server of mine. Well, not mine, it's not my server, but you know, this empty server that I'm leveling on is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, here we're learning tailoring. We have 4 professions at the moment, 5 if you want to include first aid, those being herbalism, alchemy, tailoring, and enchanting, and obviously first aid to boot. We're checking out the bag vendor. We can't really afford any bigger bags at the moment. And we are getting the quest for the oases, so that is in the game. And I do believe that Wailing Caverns is in the game also. So far, I have to say, I'm enjoying Crossroads and the Barrens a lot more than Silverpine, just because you can see a lot further here and there is less chance of being ganked by a son of Arogal. So yesterday I was actually perusing YouTube a little bit, and I came across a channel, I think it's called Designer Dave, by a WoW dev that was working on WoW Classic, like an ex-WoW dev. He is no longer a WoW dev, and he was actually streaming some Turtle WoW, which I found quite interesting. And it turns out that the guy designed the quest for the Greater Planesriders. It was the first quest text that he ever wrote for WoW Alpha, or for WoW Classic, if you will. So I found that was quite interesting, and that's why I'm including this sped up version of me murdering the Planesriders in here, just as a little bit of a tribute to Designer Dave. Thank you, we appreciate your work. And I especially appreciate the fact that the drop rate seems to be a lot higher than on the WoW 1.12 version. I guess they tuned it down later to be a little bit more in line with the classic design philosophy of having to kill 100 mobs to get 5 quest items. I think we killed 8 Planestriders and we end up with 7 beaks, so that's pretty good. As we get the last beak, we head back past the Binding Stone that we're not using because we're playing hardcore, and if we die, we die, and we delete our character. So we turn in this quest real quick to get the Sivra follow-up before we head out again. Now we might say this doesn't look very efficient, and you would probably be right. except for we're heading straight for the zebras after doing the quillboars, and we're also going to be doing the centaurs to boot. So yeah, we'll see about that. Also checking out the reagent and herbalism vendor. He has a holy protection potion, which is still in the game. I'm not sure how it functions here exactly. Let's just see. Oh, nope, the tooltip doesn't tell us anything about that. Quick look at the map. You can see a little bit here of Central Kalimdor, and it also kind of tells you which areas are fleshed out and which weren't. Yes, you saw correctly, west of Desolace there is a huge landmass, square landmass that doesn't have anything on it. You can even see it if you go there in the water. It's just a huge wall of land. So that's quite interesting. I'm not sure why that is there, but I will explore it further in a little bit of an exploration video eventually as we start to slaughter all those pigs. I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about the Baldur's Gate 3 release. I haven't played it yet. Well, I did play the early access a little bit, but just for an hour or two, maybe like a year ago when it first came out or whenever that was. But I'm quite excited to try it out sometime in the future. I actually started playing Divinity Original Sin 2 yesterday, co-op with a friend, so that's great. Maybe I will cut this together a little bit and comment over it as well. Regarding Baldur's Gate, I'm not sure what to make of it yet. I'm quite skeptical of, AAA releases, games that are sold for €60 and upwards, because most of the time they are a little bit of a disappointment, if you will. Not always, obviously, there are exceptions to this rule, but in general, I'm just a little bit skeptical. And what I did see is, obviously, the hype is very big on Twitch, so that's good for everybody that is streaming there and enjoying the streams. However, what I always used to enjoy about RPGs of that kind is both the voice acting as well as the writing. And at the moment, from what I could see, there are a lot of cutscenes, there's a lot of close-ups during those of the characters talking, etc. So they're obviously very, very proud of their faces and their facial animations that they have going for their characters, which is great, but it might detract a little bit from the RPG-y feel, as it looks like you're, watching a AAA Hollywood movie, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of AAA Hollywood movies. Anyways, back on topic, yesterday or last time I mentioned that the zebra models are a little bit better than what they appear to be in the 1.12 version, so you can, judge for yourself. I showed it here quite extensively, and I think that they do look better. I'm not sure if it's the color scheme or if they have just a little bit more pixels to boot. Anyways, we're making our way for the Forgotten Pools, the first oases of many. And on the way there, we're killing zebras, we're killing raptors, and all that good stuff. And obviously, we're killing a lot of centaurs, so that's always nice. As I said earlier, the centaurs themselves only have one model as well. The caster mobs that we know from the main game are already here as well, but they are just the male caster the male centaur model. And the guy that gives you the quest normally is off over there on the right, but his camp isn't here yet since we got the quest from from Crossroads itself. So that's the male caster model that I was talking about. I'm fairly sure these are female casters in the actual game. And as you can see here, the pools itself look forebodingly dark, which is a little bit of a foreshadowing to what's going to be happening in a second after we... Well, actually, yeah. You see, there is nothing there. The black void of despair. So we are tasked with not only collecting those mushrooms for the undead apothecary, but we're also tasked with exploring the waters of the Forgotten Pools by the Tauren guy, which does look to be a little bit difficult. And honestly, I was quite spooked at this moment because who knows, is it just dark in there because, I don't know, it doesn't have any textures yet? Or is there is this actually a bottomless pit of despair and now we're never going to get out if we start swimming too far down and forget where up and down is? Definitely a possibility at this point, as I get ganked by one more centaur. And it's quite strange because up to this point I wasn't having any trouble with these guys whatsoever, but this guy is actually dropping me down quite low, as you can see. So yeah, this game is a little bit bursty sometimes, if you will. So we try and go for another dive. I try to keep my camera above water as good as possible so I can always make it back up. But there is no point. We can't explore the waters apparently, I think to myself. And I will give up on this shortly and go back to looking for Barak Kodobane, the named guy here that we are supposed to kill. But before that, we actually go for another attempt at just diving down as deep as we can and hoping that we're gonna get the completion, which, as you can see, doesn't look... Yeah, there we go. We actually got it, so, you know, an adventurous spirit succeeds at last, and we just run past all the center camps here in search for Barak Kodobane, the named mob. Honestly, I can't tell you if he's in the game or if he's one of those guys that spawns after you murder enough of the centaurs. I don't think that's the case with him. Normally he just spawns normally, and it's the second or the third guy that you're supposed to kill that actually spawns after a set amount of murdered centaurs. I would anyway be surprised if this script ended up working in this version. So yeah, I mean, I honestly, I checked here for around 30 minutes, I think, maybe even more. Like, all this took me quite a while to navigate between all the camps. You can also see here there are more camps in this version than in the actual release, I believe. And I couldn't find them. And yeah, I almost got murdered by hyenas on multiple occasions. They're a couple of levels above me at this point in time. But there is no Kodobane, so we're not going to be able to complete this quest. So yeah, you can see one of the hyena attacks on the screen right now. You would think that that shouldn't be too big of an issue, but believe me, it's going to be. As you can see here, we're barely doing any damage to him. We're like at 50%. We're getting an unlucky resist as he hits us quite heavily, and I just decide to run away because I don't want to risk it. I definitely don't want to die to a hyena. That would be a disgraceful death, to say the least. Other than that, we find a chest, and this time I will be more careful to get it on screen for you. I'm still kind of getting used to recording for an audience. Obviously, both the voiceovers as well as the actual footage. It's like something you have to get used to if you play so and so many games for such a long time just for yourself. It's kind of like a different way of moving the camera and showing stuff off. So I do believe that the chests have a little bit of a better resolution in this version. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. Maybe I'm just seeing ghosts here. Interestingly enough, right past the Forgotten Oasis is a little bit of a ramp leading up the mountain to the quest where you would normally complete the Demon Seed, the quest that Axeloth at the watch post on the border from Durotar to Barrens gives you, where you have to run up and in the cave and plant something, I think. It's the Burning Blade outpost, and it's always been a little bit awkward getting up there. Maybe I just don't know about this ramp, but I don't think it's there in the 1.12 version. So yeah, this is a thing. So I just decided to speed it up a little bit and show you what little I explored of this. Once again, a good point to mention that I will be doing an exploration video eventually. Right now we're just doing the hardcore leveling series. So once that is done, or maybe in between if I get bored, I will take a look at all the interesting places that I feel like are worth exploring. So this ramp would eventually lead up the mountain to the Demon Seed quest, but I decide to not go there. Instead, I go back, I turn in the quests at Barrens, and that's going to be at Barrens, sorry, at the Crossroads, and that's going to be it. So once again, please join me today for a little bit of a chill stream if you have time and you feel like it. And yeah, so I leave you with a little bit of a montage of us turning in the quests. I mean, what better is there than finishing a quest run in the Barrens and just having like 8 quests to turn in? That's probably the best, right? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you either later today or tomorrow with the next one. Have fun, have a great day, and take care.